Hey guys, Alicia here. Today I am going to be making an easy homemade tomato or marinara sauce, whatever you want to call it. Now, I typically like to use something like this, this marinara pasta sauce, and I'll use this type of thing for a lot of different recipes, bubble ups, just different casseroles that I do on Weight Watchers. But the thing with this stuff is it is not the lowest in points. So I've been trying to kind of come up with a marinara or a pasta sauce that's a little bit lower in points to use for things like the casseroles and the bubble ups. And even pizza. I do make my own pizza sauce, but that is actually not the lowest either because it is tomato paste based. That's basically the main thing in it. And tomato paste, I found out a long time ago, actually has points in it. So my pizza sauce that I do is not the lowest either. So basically I've been trying to find kind of a substitute tomato sauce, marinara sauce, to use in my different recipes that is lower in points. And I was looking on the Weight Watcher app and I came across this easy tomato sauce recipe, so I thought I would try it. Now I am going to be altering theirs a little bit. I'm going to be adding a couple things to it because theirs is pretty plain or basic. But I am going to be using their recipe as a base, and the thing that keeps their recipe lower is the main thing in it is crushed tomatoes, which don't have any points. With that being the main thing, instead of tomato paste like I use in my pizza sauce, that keeps the points lower. So I'm gonna try this out, see what I think of it. I'm also gonna be making pizza with it today to see what I think of it as a pizza sauce, but I'll be using it in some other recipes if I like it and trying it out in those too. And if I like it enough, I can replace this and my stuff will be lower in points that I'm making. So let's jump in here, show you what you're gonna need for this. First off, as I said, the main thing that's in this is crushed tomatoes. You're gonna need a 28-ounce can, and then you are gonna need a little bit of tomato paste, just a tablespoon. That is a red onion that I've diced up finely. They say a third cup. I've probably got a little more than a third cup, but I love onion, so that's okay. And then you're gonna need 2 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna be cheating basically, as I always do with my garlic, and use this minced garlic. For seasoning, all they have in it is oregano and salt, I believe. So I'm gonna be doing oregano and salt. I'm also gonna be adding some basil, some crushed black pepper, and then I'm gonna be putting a couple packs of this Truvia in it. And the reason I do this, I get questions all the time of why I would put sweetener in my tomato sauce or spaghetti sauce, any of that kind of tomato-based sauces. And it's because the sweetness kind of cuts the acidity of the tomato. So that's why I use sweeteners, and I'm gonna just use Truvia. So there's no calories added to it. Finally, you're gonna need a little olive oil, and that is it. So let's jump in here and see how this comes together. I have got a medium-sized pan here that I've got on medium heat. And to that, I'm gonna add my olive oil, which is a tablespoon. And I'm gonna let that heat up in there a little bit before I add anything to it. All right, now that I've got that heated, I'm gonna add in my onions, and I'm gonna just cook those in there for a couple minutes until they are translucent. Those onions are looking good, so now I'm gonna add in my garlic. And again, it was 2 cloves, so I'm gonna add about 2 teaspoons. Then I'm gonna add in my oregano. It's calling for about a half teaspoon. And then I'm gonna add half teaspoon basil. A little bit of fresh ground pepper. Let me get this stirring in here. Get that garlic in there anyway. A little salt. About a half teaspoon. And then I'm going to let this cook in here for about a minute. All right, now I'm going to add in my tablespoon of tomato paste and let that cook in there for another minute. Next, I'm going to add in my crushed tomatoes and my couple packets of Truvia. And now I'm gonna turn my heat down to low. Give this a good stir, and then I'm gonna just let it kind of simmer for about 10 minutes or so. It says to let it simmer until the sauce thickens, so we'll just let this kind of do its thing for a few minutes, and then I will be back. Here is how we're looking. I let that simmer probably about 15 minutes. And it's looking pretty good. It's also smelling really good. I'm gonna go ahead and finish doing my dough so that I can try some of this on some pizza. For my pizzas, I'm just gonna be using this 2-ingredient pizza dough. Now, if you haven't seen me make this before, I make it all the time. I will link a video down below and up above that shows how I make this dough. Okay, I've got my pizza crust ready to go here. Now, this marinara sauce it makes about 3 cups. I'm probably gonna use, I don't know, maybe a third of this, so maybe a cup between the 2 pizzas. But the total points for all of this is only 6 points. So if I use a third of it, it's only gonna be 2 points worth of sauce, which again is a whole lot lower, not a whole lot lower than the pizza sauce that I make, but it's definitely a whole lot lower than the jarred marinara sauce that I use in other things. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put some of this on my crust. Spread it on there. Now the recipe says you can freeze this stuff, so that's kind of nice too. You could make it in big batches and just freeze it and have it there to defrost when you're ready to use it. You want to taste this?
It's some real pretty cookware you got there.
Mm-hmm, it is. I'm gonna taste the sauce by itself. See what you think.
Tastes pretty good.
And then I'm gonna just make my pizzas the way I normally do. But I will be back once this is done, and we will try it and see what it tastes like. I've got my pizza in the oven, but I wanted to jump back on here and correct a little point mistake I made with this. Now this makes 6 servings of a half cup, and so 3 cups total. Now it says it's 1 point a serving, so I just assumed that would be for all servings 6 points, but it's actually only 5 points if you were to use all 6 servings of this. Like, so if I was to use it in a casserole or something, it's only gonna be 5 points for all of this. Whereas if I was to use this in a bubble up or a casserole or whatever, the same amount is 24 ounces, which is the same as 3 cups. It would be 18 points. So this is quite a bit higher if you look at it that way, at 18 points compared to the same amount for 5 points. So I'm hoping that I really like this, because that's definitely going to shave off some points in the different recipes that I use this stuff in traditionally. Plus, this was really easy to make, and as I said before, you can freeze it in batches or whatever. Just make up a bunch at one time and then freeze it in the amounts that you want it, and you've got it all the time. So I did taste this, and I like what it tastes like, but I will be curious to see how this tastes on the pizza, and again, other recipes that I would typically use this one in. So anyway, just thought I would share that with you, that is only 5 points for all 3 cups. Here the pizzas are done. We did this one here for us, and that cheese one over there for my son. Okay, I'm gonna have my hubby try the pizza with that sauce on it and see what he thinks compared to the pizza sauce that I typically make.
No, I will say that it's been a while since we've had pizza.
It has been a little bit since we've had the pizza,
so I'm not gonna. I mean, it may be like, whoa, you know.
Well, I'm just curious if it even really tastes any different. Because the pizza sauce I make is not a lot more points than this stuff. In fact, I looked and it actually, I think the pizza sauce total for both pizzas is like 10 points. So if you use this stuff instead of that, it's actually not going to make any difference point-wise. That pizza's still 6 points with that marinara sauce.
So there's definitely like a more depth of flavor.
Oh.
So I think you must have a little bit different seasoning in it than what you normally
It's
would.
pretty much the same seasoning. I think the only difference is, well, there's onions in that. There's it's a can of crushed tomatoes instead of just the tomato paste and water. And then there's garlic, which I think I typically put like garlic salt, not garlic salt, garlic, what's the other garlic? There's garlic powder, garlic salt, and granulated. I usually put granulated in the pizza sauce, I think. I do it different every time, actually. So do you like that?
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, it's almost like there's a more fresher, a nice fresh taste.
Which is
So that would be the addition of the
onions.
the onion and the garlic.
And the crushed, even though it's canned, the crushed tomatoes instead of the tomato paste. So you like it?
Yeah.
Because that's only about, probably not even 2 points of sauce for the entire 2 pizzas that I did. Yes, we got Rocky over there. Not that you can see him. But okay, I'm gonna try this in some other stuff like Bubble Ups that I use the canned marinara sauce in, and that'll be the real test because that marinara sauce tastes a whole lot different than the pizza sauce that I typically do my pizza with. The pizza sauce probably tastes somewhat similar to this, don't you think? Just like you said, fresher. This is fresher tasting. Okay, well, that was easy tomato sauce or marinara sauce, whatever you want to call it. So far, I'm thinking it's going to be something I'm going to want to use, but we'll do more stuff with it and see what we think of it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you as always for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.